Alright, so I'm going to do a mini tutorial here on how to enter a scatter plot on the graphing calculators. So what we need to do, first of all, is in order to put your data in, we have to go into the stat function. So it'll ask you which one of these we want to do. Well, we want to edit them, so just hit enter. And it gives you a list of however many columns. So what we want to do then is we want to enter in some data. So for this one, I'm just going to do the two lines of data, line 1, line 2, which would be like our x and our y, and then do the plotting from there. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some data right now. They mean nothing. They're just going to be some values so you can see what. Whoops. This should be 180. It's your first value. These are just going to go up by 10. 190, 200, 210. Okay, so I'm doing from 180 to 220 to 230 on my line 1. For my L2, these are the numbers, 24, 21, 16, 13, 11, and 9. Okay, so I've got my data in there. Now what I need to do is we have to plot these. So we need to go into our second, and we want stat plot, so it's the y equals button. And then we want to make sure that the on is selected. It should be highlighted. For type, we want to select, so we need to turn this one on. So we want it on. So I just hit enter. I could hit 1. So what we want to plot here is we want a scatter plot. So there's different kinds of plots here. We've got box and whisker plots. I can't tell based on my screen what the last one is, but the very first one here, or the leftmost one, is the scatter plot. So that's the one I want. I want it on, sorry, and I want that one. Next it says you want X list to be the list 1, so we want our X values to be list 1, we want our Y values to be list 2, and lastly we want to select the mark. And we want that one to be the kind of little box thing that's on there. On the TI-84s, in the silver edition, I'm not sure if the TI-84s, you can select what color you want these to be too. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, so those are all okay. So now we go and we press the Y equals button. I have a I need to clear this. There, make sure that that's cleared out of there. So you can see on there that the plot 1 is highlighted. So it says turn off any, or you need to turn off any functions that are entered here. Move the cursor over if there's anything else that is on. So if plot 1, or plot 2, and plot 3 were also on, then you need to just hit enter on those. So now what we want to do then, if we look at the data that we have, go to our window. So right now my X max, X min is all at the defaults of -10 and 10 and so on. But if you remember from the data that we entered, we were going from 180 to 230. So if we want to have a window a little bit larger, we can go from 150 to say 250. And maybe go up by 10s instead. For our Y's, we started as low as 9 and went to 24. So if we say put this at y minimum at 0 and maybe go up to, say, 35, and we'll go up by 5s. X resolution can stay at 1, and you don't need to worry about any of those other ones. Okay, so now that we have fixed our window and we've got our data in there and we are set our plotting, then what we do is we just graph it. So we hit the graph button, and you get something that looks like that. So we have our data, but now we need what's called the line of regression. So what we need to do here, and we'll be doing these in the question. So the steps for doing this is to go into the stat. Stat is right here. We want to go over into the calc. And you can see selection number 4 is line reg, or which stands for line of regression, ax plus b. Ax plus b, of course, is a linear equation. So then it asks you on the screen, is our x list list 1, is our y list list 2? And yes. So then we've got all that, so now all we have to do is hit enter. Oh. And you hit enter till your data comes up. So it says y is equal to ax plus b, a is equal to negative 0.308b857, b is equal to 78.9238, so on. So those correspond. Your a is your slope, your b is your y-intercept. If you need to do on a question, and I can't remember if it asks us on these. I don't see specifically. I'm going to show you anyway. If you need to do the, it's called the correlation coefficient. What you need to do is go to the press second. And then I just have to find it on your catalog. I know I've seen it. It's down here above the 0. And then we want D. I think you have to scroll down to get there. I'm not sure if there's a faster way. There maybe is. I want diagnostics on, so that's where I am. I hit enter, and hit enter again. And then I have to go back and do my linear regression that I did above. So that was the one where you oops, I got to go back to my page. So we go back to calc. So second calc. Oh, that was the wrong one. Second stat. Second. Don't even need second. Let's go quit. Okay. We want stat, calc, number 4, enter. There. And that gives you your other values there, so your correlation coefficients. So r squared is equal to 0.9725, r is equal to negative 0.9861. Right now these mean nothing to you, but when we do questions, if we need to find correlation coefficients, that's what you need to do. So basically your linear regression, and we'll go through the steps when we're doing the problems, but it's a very easy function to do on your calculator.